And we are live and direct with a bunch of WYEP members here in the house. And they're excited because we're live and direct with local natives today. And we're going to be talking about their album, Time Will Wait for No One, which came out back in the month of July. They're playing Stage AE tonight. We're really excited to have Taylor, Kelsey, and Ryan here. Would you guys like to get things started with the song?
Sure.
Cause time will wait for no one, but I'll wait for you. One, two. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Always on your mind as soon as you awake until you close your eyes. Nobody ever explains. Somehow you learn. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the man, it's been a while. She laughs and exhales. The car's waiting outside. The years stay like melted wax on cul-de-sac curves. A moment too late, and I can't help feeling like it couldn't be any other way. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Not another soul around, heaven falling from the clouds. Either way you go without. No, you don't need it now. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the morning starting all over, you go. Just before the
Well, that was quite the introduction from local natives today, live here on WYEP in a live and direct session. They're playing at Stage AE tonight. And welcome back to Pittsburgh, first of all.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be back.
Taylor, Kelsey, and Ryan are here, and they're going to all be answering a few of the questions. But the new album is Time Will Wait for No One, which was the introduction piece that you started off just before the morning. Can you explain a little bit about the theme of the album and where it came from?
Yeah, I think for us, so that lyric was a lyric that was kicking around for a long time, and then as we were working on this album, it just felt like there was so much chaos swirling around us. You know, it was the first time we'd been apart from each other for any extended period of time for basically 10 years. We were living together, touring together, and just amongst all the chaos and us figuring out what was going on with our relationships in the band and everything, it almost became this mantra of time will wait for no one, but I'll wait for you. And it was this kind of choice we could make, to kind of hold on to this thing that we have together, making music together. We're basically brothers at this point. I've known these guys since I was 13. So yeah, in a lot of ways, it just kind of encapsulated, all the emotions and the feelings of that time for us.
And this is your fifth studio album, but Violet Street came out back in 2019. I don't know if there was extensive touring around that record before COVID and the pandemic.
Yeah,
we
planned touring. Yeah.
All right.
But then we didn't.
Yeah. Well, it was almost, everything is kind of great until it isn't. Some, turbulent times for everybody, some turbulent times for the bands. Everything is stopped in its place, and along with a lot of other things that happened. Was there a decision then to kind of restart the band, do a reset before going to the studio, or?
We kind of worked it out while we were making this record, and I think the beautiful thing for us in the album and in the music is the one thing about kind of having this forced stop in your life, and I think almost everybody experienced this, was it really made you pause your life and look at everything and kind of re-examine, and in that way it got to be a new beginning, and I think in that way it was really beautiful. So over the process of making this album and this body of work, we ended up actually making a ton of new music. We really got to just throw assumptions out and everything out and just take a moment to look in the mirror there and just start again, which was really the amazing aspect of it.
Well, that's great. They're from Southern California. They're here in Pittsburgh tonight for a show at Stage AE. Local natives are here live and direct. Where did you find that inspiration then for some of the songs on it? Because if I'm not, Just Before the Morning came out quite a while ago, before the maybe album was completely conceived. I think it was a single either early in the year in 2023. What was the clicking part where you found that inspiration to put a bunch of music together? Because it sounds like you recorded a lot.
Well, I mean, we started trying to write over the pandemic and pass things back and forth together over emails and stuff, and that just didn't work because we're so much more used to having the immediate feedback of playing together in a room, just playing a part, don't like that, play another part, that sounds good, and that's just can't happen over email.
That's a good description of being in a band. Great summary.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Like that more. So we had made basically a record in a really tumultuous time where we're all kind of fumbling because after we're trying to all recover from what we all went through, which is being in isolation, being in your own head, spiraling out a bit. And then, so making music, we got a bunch of songs done, and then we had to kind of do a huge reset, and then went back into the studio, and it felt like there's kind of two halves to all this music we made that we kind of collaged all together, and it's a lot of before, middle, and after of going through this traumatic experience and then coming out the other side.
It's hard to imagine being in a band is tough enough to tour and prepare and record and be out on the road and be in close quarters with everybody. So
being in a band is definitely hard. Yeah. For sure. Kyle, you are right. Yeah, you are right.
It's got to be one of the tougher things to do.
Well, it's the hardest relationship to explain to anybody because we are brothers. We are best friends. we're like business partners, we're creative partners. And it just takes like, if you're not just like working on your relationships all the time, anyone in a relationship can understand that. Like, you need to keep working on something for it to keep being in a good spot. And then, you know, when the pandemic happened, everything's just like cut off. And you don't get to have that kind of work. And in a band, that we found that to be really, really challenging.
Well, glad you came out on the other side and you're smiling and here. We're grateful that you're here today performing live for the studio audience and for everybody else. Local Natives, Time Will Wait for No One is the album. How about a couple of songs?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
There's so much I wanna tell ya. Ooh, more than you could ever know. Ooh, swear the mercury was frozen. Ooh, walking in the desert snow. Run while you've got a head start. 'Cause it's a phantom and it never tires. You wanna run at the clock. You take the back seat, saying I don't care, just drive. Ooh, there's so much I wanna tell ya. Ooh, more than you could ever know. Ooh, swear the mercury was frozen. Ooh, walking in the desert snow. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. No, I don't care about any of that now. It's all been put behind. It's falling through the cracks, lost somewhere between what I was and wanna be now. Ooh, there's so much I wanna tell ya. Ooh, more than you could ever know. Ooh, swear the mercury was frozen. Ooh, walking in the desert snow.
Local Natives are live and direct here at WYEP. They're playing Stage AE tonight, and they're in town from Southern California. Now, this tour has just kind of gotten underway in the last few weeks, right?
Yes,
And-
we're 6 shows in, and I think like 3 months into this tour. That was a joke. It feels like it's been 3 months. It's just been 1 week, you guys.
I was so confused. Like, do you know? You just woke up, so
Yeah.
you don't know what you're saying.
It's so interesting, like switching from regular life to tour life, and you kind of go through a portal into another dimension. But this first, like, I think we're like 10 days in on tour, has been really amazing. It's the first time we've gotten to play like the whole new record, playing a lot of these songs live for the first time. And yeah, I think, like Ryan said, we met when we were like 13 and 15 years old, and just playing live has been such a huge part of our band and like of our lives. So it's just something we really appreciate and love doing a lot.
Well, that song NYE has a little bit of a story behind it because, from what I understand, a few of you have gotten married over the years.
Yeah. So this story is like Local Natives now has a tradition where if somebody gets married from the band, the rest of the band makes up your wedding band. What's fun about that is like whoever's getting married never gets to like see us play, you know, like you're always on stage with each other. And so, yeah, we Ryan and I played at Kelsey's wedding a long time ago. They all played at mine. Then while we were making this record, Ryan got married. Round of applause for Ryan. Congratulations. And we were playing like all of his favorite songs. He had us play like Oasis. He had us play Bee Gees. Kelsey had to sing in a very high register for like 5 minutes
straight. I keep
straight.
getting asked to go way out of my range, and it feels, and it's like I can't say no.
No,
you know,
you have
it's
to
their
say
wedding,
yes.
and they want
But you
what they
sounded
want.
great, Kels. You sound amazing.
Thank you.
And we played these really fast songs, like we played the Stroke song, and yeah, I think like.
Well, I got to play bass for the first time, which was really fun. I'm obviously not playing it now, but I never get to play bass, and we were playing this like fast song, and I think Ryan saw us up there playing and just thought, oh, this would be a cool like new maybe different sound for local natives, and then he wrote NYE.
You know, NYE too. I just heard a new version of it, and it's been kind of refreshing the last couple of years. When singles or songs come out from bands, they end up working with another vocalist, turn them into a duet or have a guest. How did you meet Suki Waterhouse? Because she's on a new version of this song NYE that I just heard the other day.
Yeah, working with Suki was amazing. We were just mutual fans of each other. Like it was that simple, and exactly what you just said. We kind of had a concept like let's do. We love kind of doing like stripped down acoustic versions of songs, and we're like it'd be so cool to do this song as a duet. And yeah, we just basically asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, I would love to." And yeah, we spent like a day in the studio. We really recorded it live. Yeah, she was like, "Can I just like sing this like over and over?" We're like, "Oh, we're just gonna do it live." And she was like super game. She was amazing to work with, and she even then came out and like we had an LA show right before this tour, and she like came on stage and sang with us, which was cool.
I really liked this last record that she did, and when I was back in my home state a few weeks ago visiting, she played a show at a club that I was kind of blown away at the time by that. So it was cool to see the collaborative work, and it's always great when you kind of connect. I guess for me as a music fan, different bands and you know incorporate them into your songs.
Nice.
Time Will Wait for No One is the album, and I guess you guys have done remixes of things and had other guest vocalists before, because back in 2016 you put out the song Dark Days, which was I guess a strange look ahead to things, but you ended up recording with a guest vocalist at that time, and then a few years later, I guess maybe 2020, when you put out a remix of it with Sylvan Esso.
Yeah, Nina Persson from the Cardigans sang on the album version that came out on Sunlit Youth, our third record, and we loved that version so much. But then in 2020, we're friends with Sylvan Esso, and their label mates, and we were gonna do Jimmy Kimmel Live, and we always like getting other female singers to do the duet part, because we just can't ask Nina to come out all the time. She lives in Sweden. That's very far. She's probably busy. So Amelia was in town from Sylvan Esso, and we were like, oh, do you want to sing it with us? And she kind of rewrote the second verse and did her own take on it, and we loved it so much we wanted to actually record it and put it out.
All right. Local Natives are here live and direct. They're playing at Stage AE tonight, and they're going to do the song Dark Days now.
Finally what you came for, finally what you hoped to find. Racing on from her house, looking out for black and white. Dark days in the summer, a million ways to toe the line. Can't wait, holy other, might as well be the seventh sign. Ooh, we go hand in hand with fear for the afterlife. while nobody else relies. When they turn the corner, when you know we're out of sight, dark days in the summer, in the rain, the water's fine. It was wild combination, either that or right down the line. Ooh, it goes hand in hand with fear for the afterlife. Ooh, how can we find it if we don't even know why? I've been on the way, I've been on the way, I've been on my way for so long. I've been on the way, I've been on the way, I've been on my way for so long.
Thank you.
Live and direct with local natives here at 91.3 WYEP. Time Will Wait for No One is the new album. You'll get the full band experience tonight at Stage AE. And Taylor and Kelsey and Ryan, thank you so much for coming in and also doing the hard work to remain together, because it's been close to 20 years now. And we're glad that you're out and put out a really great, beautiful, lush album.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, local natives live on WYEP.